Begin by removing your splash guard and finding your steering coupler. The splash guard is held on by 7 Phillips head screws, and the steering coupler is located toward the driver's side of the vehicle next to the driver's side control arm. This fix does have a bit of a choose-your-own-adventure based on the tools that you have at your disposal. If you have a U-joint adapter, I think it's easier to remove the top screw, then unlock the steering column, and that's what I'm going to show here. However, if you don't have a U-joint, it's probably easier to unlock the steering column and then remove the screws. With your U-joint adapter attached to your ratchet set, use that to remove the top 8mm screw. It's actually an E8 torque screw, external torque screw, but my 8mm socket worked fine. The next step is to loosen your steering column by putting the key in the ignition and turning to position 1. At that point, you should be able to move the steering wheel back and forth freely. Once the steering column is unlocked, you can manually twist the steering column in order to gain access to the bottom 8mm screw. Once you remove the bottom 8mm screw, pull up on the steering column shaft, which is in the top of the steering coupler, and it will allow you to remove the entire coupler. Twisting the column clockwise will allow you to gain access to the bottom 8mm screw, like such. Once you remove the 8mm screw, you need to pull up on the steering column shaft, shown here, and then the entire steering coupler is able to be removed. Now you can install your new steering coupler. The coupler only goes on one way. The bottom has grooves and an opening that the bolt will ultimately go through, and the top has a geometric stadium. So, put the coupler on the bottom, reinstall the bottom 8mm screw, pull down the steering column shaft, and then reinstall the top 8mm screw. So this is the piece that the bottom of the coupler will go onto. It has grooves and then a little slot there. This is the bottom of the old coupler, and the top of the old coupler, see the geometric stadium there. So slide the new coupler on, and you can ensure that it's all the way in, where you could see through the hole that the screw will go in, like such. Next, install the bottom screw. It should be torqued to 16 foot-pounds. And then take the upper portion of the steering column and reseat it into the steering coupler. So pull it down into the steering coupler. You'll be able to tell when it's all the way in, when there's a groove on one side is completely not visible. Once it's completely seated, rotate the entire column counterclockwise and reinstall the top screw at 16 foot-pounds. When completed, it should look like this. Notice how there is no visible groove at the top portion from the steering column.